Spencer Linton alongside Jerem Jordan.
Happy President's Day.
Blaine Fowler, dual threat analyst, national champion for BYU football. Frankly, if he ran for political office, he would have my vote. Blaine, welcome back to the show.
I need to hear I need to learn a little more. I like Blaine as a person. I don't know his stance on
Are you
stuff.
a man that we can trust?
Jerem doesn't know my platform. Jerem needs my platform
I need your
before
platform,
he's
yeah.
okay with that, right? Yeah. Oh, you will like my platform, Jerem.
I'm sure.
Fantastic. Okay, Blaine, why don't you offer your political opinion or not on where BYU basketball stands on the men's side and their chances for making the NCAA tournament? I'm of the opinion that if they have a chance to play San Francisco on Saturday in the quarterfinals, maybe that's the elimination game of sorts that gives BYU a chance to get in, keeps the Dons out. Where do you stand on that?
Yeah, certainly I think that would be huge, is the opportunity to play them, because they've got to do something. Well, first of all, they can't lose any games this week, which if they play the way they did Saturday night, I think they're in good shape. Honestly, against St. Mary's on the road, I know they didn't come out and play great in the first half, but I think they played gritty enough and came together enough in the second half, barring some turnovers down the stretch. They were good enough to beat anybody in the league except for St. Mary's on the road and Gonzaga anywhere in the world. And so that's the way, if they had played the last couple of weeks, where we wouldn't even be talking about them being on the bubble at all, right? And so I felt like they had a coming together in the second half against St. Mary's. But they still have to do something. And then the sad part is, 16 seconds to go in the Santa Clara game, they're in a position where we're not even talking about a bubble. And they literally have a meltdown down the stretch, which I think carried over to the next game. And now we're talking about bubbles and bubbles sitting on thorns and like all kinds of things. And we find ourselves, I look at it this way. A pin went into the bubble, but right now the head of the pin is pressed up against the bubble. So just like stuff's leaking around it, right? That's how precarious they are
weird.
right now. That's the visual I have, where any touch of anything on that, it's just gonna burst and be gone. But I think if they get a chance to win these two this week and play San Francisco, or then all of a sudden there's an opportunity to maybe sneak in. But now all of a sudden we're watching all these other teams. Like, what's Loyola Chicago doing? Who cared about them 2 weeks ago? How about Memphis? What's Memphis going to do? Now we're watching Michigan, who they're still talking about being, even with a 14-11 record, in the Big Ten. North Carolina, you mentioned earlier.
I'm going to slap you through
Spencer.
the camera, Blaine.
Yeah, it's I'm watching TCU, Indiana, and Creighton right now.
Yes, all of them.
I didn't even care about those teams 2 weeks ago. Didn't even care, because they didn't matter. But all of a sudden, all of that matters right now, and it's completely out of BYU's hands. The thing that's in their hands, they got to go win. They got to hope for a good matchup in the tournament, whether it's against, a win against San Francisco, I think would be helpful. And I don't know, there's a chance they could match up with St. Mary's in that tournament, with as crazy as the tiebreakers could be in this thing. I'm not writing off that they couldn't beat St. Mary's on a neutral floor the way they played the other night. And so one of those two teams they have to play. Let's not talk Cinderella and all this craziness with Gonzaga. Gonzaga's not losing. They're going to win the finals in that tournament by 20. They're that good.
Yes.
So, yeah, a 16-second meltdown. People keep talking about 40 seconds. I submit it's in the last 16 seconds that they melted down. So 16-second meltdown of St. Clair carries over to the next game, and now we're having a completely different discussion. But I'm going to say this. I really liked the way they played in the second half of that game against St. Mary's, and felt like, whoa, wait a minute. Maybe a little bit of confidence and unity came back to this team, and I saw some fight. And perhaps that carries into this tournament. They're very precarious right now. They got a pin all the way to the head of the pin, sticking to the bubble.
And the hope is that if BYU plays San Francisco and wins, that would be enough. That's the hope. So it just feels very precarious as we're talking about. One, we need that matchup. And two, BYU needs to win it. And three, hopefully that's enough. So we'll see if that even happens in Vegas.
Yeah, it's a long shot at this point, guys, but crazier things have happened, right? Crazier things have happened.
Blaine Fowler is with us on BYU Sports Nation. Blaine, to what do you attribute BYU's struggles during that 4-game losing streak, and primarily for the back half of conference season? Is it teams figuring out how to play BYU better, and then the injuries to the big men? Like, where do you spin that wheel of blame, if you will, on why this has happened?
Well, it's the two things that you talked about, but in reverse order. So the injuries didn't really affect BYU early, right after the injuries, because teams weren't quite sure how to take advantage of that. And BYU was so good on the guard line during that time that they made do without Richie and without Gavin. But then I think eventually there's really good coaches in this league, and the league's better this year, and teams figured out how to attack or offensively against BYU's defense. And as good as Foose and Atiki are as freshmen, and we see him block shots, but they're not quite like Richie Harward back there, who has an unbelievable command of the defensive rotations. Not only is he getting to the spots quick, but he's making calls back there to make sure everybody else is in their rotations. And Gavin Baxter's a shot eraser. And also, they've been in the program so long that 1 second on a rotation defensively is the difference between somebody having to pull up and shoot a mid-range contested jump shot or getting all the way to the rim and finishing. And you see the field goal percentage that teams have shot down the stretch against BYU. It's not BYU's offense that has problems, although there have been times when they're stagnant, when they start to double Alex 30 feet away from the basket. But I think BYU's figured that out. It's on the defensive end, in the back end, where sometimes they're slow on the rotations. The teams just get way too many easy buckets. And so it's the combination of not having veterans back there. They have unbelievably talented young players back there. But there's no substitute for understanding and just reacting on your rotations and not letting people get to the rim. And so to me, that's the reason. The inability to get stops and the tendency to let teams get to the rim when they want to get to the rim, with rotations just being a little slower than they would be if you had those other two guys there. That's a long answer, but that's my take on it.
Is Alex Barcelo a better shooter than Jimmer Fredette? He's certainly unbelievably consistent with his threes. Like, percentage-wise, I don't think you can argue. And I was talking to some of the other coaches this year, and they just said, no, people don't understand how good a shooter he is. They said he may be the best three-point shooter in the country when it comes to just knocking down shots. Jimmer had a better ability to take the ball off the dribble, create space, and just elevate over the top of somebody and knock down that shot. But Alex, that guy, if you leave him a tiny bit of room, like, I expect every three-point shot he takes to go down. That's how good he is. So they have a little bit different way that they get their shot. You know, Jimmer's is a lot off the dribble, taking people and pressing forward and then stepping back and knocking it down, or dribbling off a screen, but I would think from percentage-wise, it's hard to argue that Alex is maybe a more consistent three-point shooter.
Blaine, let's finish with BYU football. Spring ball begins in just a week. What's the buzz around BYU football as Kalani Sitake and company approach another spring season?
It's interesting because it's so different than last year, the feel. Last year, there were a lot of new guys that were coming in. And remember all the guys that left to go early to the NFL, and you lose your first-round draft pick quarterback. And so as they were going through kind of player walkthroughs leading into spring ball, it was almost like they were starting from scratch. The feel this year is that they're just going to hit the ground running. They have so many returning guys on both sides of the ball that they don't have to spend much time in figuring out the basics of what they do in their packages. Those are pretty much in before they even get to spring ball. So now it's some really fun position battles. They're going to be way ahead in terms of what's installed for game one next fall, because they're going to be way ahead starting in spring ball. And I love that. That's why my expectations, and we talked about it on this show about this time last year, for BYU, I thought if they got to 8 wins last year, you know, that would be really, really good based on inexperience. My expectations are, even with the crazy schedule, higher this year, because I think they're a really veteran football team. And now I'm just going to be watching some of these great position battles, like the influx of new talent at running back. How's that going to shake out? Because there's some veteran group coming back. A lot of veterans at wide receiver. But is this when Chase Roberts just steps up at wide receiver and we all go, yeah, that's the dude we thought we had when we recruited him? I think that's going to happen. I think Chase Roberts is going to emerge, and all of a sudden you've got Romney and Nakua and Roberts, maybe one of the best receiving corps in the country before it's all said and done.
Keanu Hill, Blaine?
Yeah, Keanu. The fact that I'm mentioning him fourth is crazy,
right?
And then how's Kingsley going to assimilate in? Do they move some people around? Tons of offensive linemen. A bunch of guys played last year. We're back to where they were 2 years ago with a ton of depth on the offensive line. So offensively, I couldn't be more excited with a veteran quarterback coming back who's a potential NFL guy, with a veteran deep offensive line with great receivers and loaded at running back and tight end. So, we can talk about defense another time if you want to. I'm pretty bullish on the defense as well. But offensively, this is an unbelievably veteran group that's just going to start with their full packages in right at the beginning of spring ball. And we watch some of these new guys come in and the impact that they're going to have. Yeah, this is an exciting time, and we're going to see some stars emerge in spring ball that'll carry over to the fall.
Blaine Fowler with us on BYU Sports Nation. As promised, dual threat, tackling basketball and football. Blaine, really, there isn't much of an offseason for football anymore. I know it is, but hey, if we're in spring ball and we got the draft coming up, let's ride the high.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, like the veteran guys, they've been going through player walkthroughs where the players just get together in their off seasons. They're so veteran. They've been inserting their offense and defense the last couple weeks before they even get to spring ball because they have enough veteran guys to be able to do that without coaches being out there, that puts you way ahead. So yeah, football is it's all season long. You take a breath you take a breath for a couple of weeks in January and you get back at it. And certainly that's been the case for BYU. So, hey, I have to mention you guys, I went to the women's basketball game Saturday.
Yep.
And my goodness, what an unbelievable, I'm not even gonna say women's college basketball environment. What an unbelievable college basketball environment Saturday at the Marriott Center. It was off the charts, amazing and electric in there. And Juddy, I look at that team, top to bottom, depth, front court, back court. They do not have a weakness. This team's going to do some damage in the NCAA tournament. I love the team that Juddy has. This has to be his best collection he's ever had. They are really good.
Yes, and they just need to validate it by getting back to his third Sweet 16.
They have to get to the Sweet 16, and then we'll call them the best team in BYU history.
Yeah, that was fun. And kudos to BYU. My shout out today is to BYU's fan base that went on senior day and created an environment that very few men's college basketball teams have an environment to match what we all experienced Saturday in the Marriott Center. That was really cool.
That's fantastic.
Better than St. Mary's men's.
Blackout, senior day.
Way better.
Yes.
Not close.
Blaine delivering the good news as usual. Thanks for the time, man.
All right, guys. Thanks.
Uncle B on BYU Sports Nation.